stamping friends, it's Sharon Armstrong. Welcome to my High Tide video series, and for the first card we're going to be making this one. And I realized as I was prepping for the video that I might need to show you how to do the cutting. So I'm actually going to kind of do this a little backwards. I'm going to do all the stamping first, and then I'll move everything out of the way, and then I will show you how to cut these sides. So, okay. All right, so let's get started. So we are using the High Tide stamp set, which is just a really fun set, especially for those hard man cards. You know, sometimes we just have a hard time. You have all the instructions and everything in the PDF, all the measurements, and I even gave you a picture of how to cut out that piece. So, but one thing I did want to point out, when I wrote my instructions, I called the two lighthouses step 1 and step 2, and I gave you the images of what I was talking about. So hopefully that's going to help you with your stamping. All right, so we're going to put that aside for just a minute. And in your card kit, you'll get a piece of basic black. And I don't know if you noticed, but on my sample card, I did it in chocolate chip because I had quite a bit of chocolate chip 12 by 12 left over. And then I realized, we don't sell that anymore. But we do sell packs of the 12 by 12 black. So I switched it to black, so no big deal. All right, so what I do need though is I need to put I'm gonna put my paper piercer mat underneath there to do my stamping. And so the first thing is you'll have 2 layers for your sentiment part. And this is very vanilla. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment on there. And I am using chocolate chip. Oh, it's a little crooked. I thought it was. That's why let's do that again. Remember, 2 sides. Much better. All right. So as I use these stamps, I'm going to move them way out of my way. So we'll go ahead and add this layer, which was my good side. This was the good side. I'll add my layer to the real red. And then set that aside. Okay, so then we have our very vanilla piece. Can y'all still see that? Yes. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the lighthouse. And I'm doing step 1, which is with real red. And I'm going to stamp it up fairly close to the top. Boy, this thing is like a, what do they call it? A magnifying glass. Looking at it at an angle through my clear block. But I don't want to stick my head in the camera, so it is what it is, right? All right. So then our next step is going to be step 2, and that is right here. I prefer Memento black. You can use the basic black if you want. But I just prefer the Memento when I'm using photopolymer stamps. So, all right, I'm going to pull this towards me a little bit because I know I'm going to have a hard time lining it up. Did y'all see my hair? I couldn't tell. I was looking down. All right, pretty good. So you might practice a little bit with that. It is a little tricky. On some of the other videos, I'm going to show you how to use the Stamp-A-Majig to really line that up, but I've gotten pretty good at doing it without the Stamp-A-Majig. All right, so the next thing I want to do is stamp my, I call this the Rocky Beach. There's several times that I refer to it, and if you'll notice, there's a little cutout, and it's perfect for the lighthouse. So I'm just going to stamp that right there. Perfect. I'm running out of room to put my stamps over there. All right, so I still have my birds, and on the sample, I didn't get all of the birds on there. So I'm going to ink up, let's see, let's turn these around. I want the smaller birds, and I'm using the clear block to help me only ink up the smaller birds. Okay, so then we're going to just stamp right here. Nice. Did good. I did good. I'm doing good so far. And then we have our water. And our water is just, I love the shape of it. It's rounded on one side and then it's almost like an arrow, if you would. And if you'll notice, it kind of fits with the sand shape, sort of, if you have a big imagination. But it allows me to just kind of line that up and stamp. And then I'm just going to stamp like this. And I'm going to keep my stamp in the same position because that arrow point will just fit right in where I left off. Isn't that fun? Little things make you happy in this world. This is really some easy stamping. I tried to do the easier card first in this series because the other ones, they're not hard, but they're a little bit more detailed. All right, so we have all of our stamping done, and I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you how to do the black. All right, so we have our piece of black cardstock, and it is 12 inches wide, okay? So I know what my measurements are. I tried to keep it very simple. Just 2, 4, whoops, 4, let's do it right, and then 8 and 10. I think I skipped. I'm going to do that one again. Okay, so this is just a prototype for the video. When I started, it skipped a little groove, so I could feel it when I pulled it down. All right, so I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to bring in the paper trimmer. And the best way to do it is just to line this score line up in the, I call this the gutter of the cutter, And I hope you can see that on the video. I'm using this lip right here to keep this nice and straight for me. And all I'm going to do is pull that cutting blade straight towards me like that. So I've cut that piece off. Now, another step to make it easy for you, take this piece so that you know you've got both sides lined up perfectly. Do the same thing, but see, this time I'm using the bottom and the top to make sure it's in the gutter. And I find pulling this towards me helps it from moving. If I push it away, sometimes I push that paper. Okay, all right. So that's how you cut it. I hope that helps you when you're assembling your card. So we'll use the one that I did correctly, and we're going to put this one together. Super simple. Place this right in here, centered right there. And then this just closes. Look how fun. A little bit off on my, so see how there's a little gap in there? It was a little bit off when I did my bone folder. Let's see if I can fix it. I'm telling you, I'm the queen of boo-boos. If there's going to be a mistake, I'll make it, but I figure out how to fix it. Maybe that should be my new title, the Queen of Boo-Boos. There, much better. All right, so then we're going to add this piece, and when you do this piece, where's my silicone mat? So on the left-hand side, I'm going to put my fingers there, and I'm going to hold it so that I know which is my left when I flip it over, and I'm only going to do one row of adhesive because I don't want to close the card shut. I don't want to glue it shut. I did that on the first one. So then you just kind of center that, and there you go. Ta-da! Cute card, huh? All right, come back for the next one.